Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield here in Las Vegas, downtown, for one of my favourite casinos and hotels called The D. And the man in charge is The D. How are you?
Great to see you, Alex.
Let's start at the beginning then. The D. Is it Derrick? Is it downtown? Is it Detroit? What is it?
You hit all three of them. You're exactly correct. When we decided to rebrand the property and renovate really all 34 stories, all the suites, all the hotel rooms, we knew we had to come up with a new name, and it really came to us, and it really stands for all three of those. It really stands for downtown Las Vegas. It stands, it's a little bit of a tip of the cap to my hometown, which was Detroit, my original hometown, and all my friends call me D, so that's kind of how it happened.
Congratulations on this property. Firstly, there's a great energy about it. You go around a lot of the bigger places, which are newer and have these multi-billion-dollar budgets and all of that, and they're kind of soulless, some of them, not all of them. But when you come here, there's a real heart about your casino floor for a start. There's an energy. Is that to do with the long bar, the music? Is it all planning and that you've worked hard to create?
You know, for me, I used to come on holiday to Las Vegas a few times a year. And back when I was younger, I always thought, if I ever had a chance to run a casino or I ever had a chance to own a casino, what would I want to do? And I've really orientated this around a property that is fun. And when people come, we have to be respectful that they're giving us their time and they're coming on vacation, they're coming on their holiday. And I just want to provide an experience where they walk out and they say, I had the greatest time of my life and I can't wait to come back.
Your rooms are spectacular. I mean, they're far bigger than anything you're going to get uptown, certainly for the same money. That's what's great about here. You're offering the same quality of experience, but at a much lower rate. Therefore, why not stay here? I can't think of a reason why. You've got Fremont next door, so you've got all that entertainment. There are great links if people do want to go and see Cirque du Soleil or whatever. But if you want to stay here, you provide 3 shows a day. You've got the afternoon at 4 o'clock. You've got Frankie in the evening. I mean, you make sure that you've got both options. You can either stay here and never leave, or if you want to go uptown, you can do that too.
Yeah, I mean, we really tried to create something where there's an awful lot to do here, but there's an awful lot of flexibility as well. Like you said, Fremont Street alone, it has free entertainment 7 nights a week. We've got the new Slotzilla zip line. And then on property, we have all types of shows in our showrooms. Keeps everybody busy.
I think you've got to be grown up about it as well and accept that people who come to Las Vegas are going to travel. They're not just going to stay where you are. And I know they go to great lengths to make sure people can get from one place to the next easily. There are buses regularly and things like that. It's naive to think that people are not going to travel in this town. They're coming here perhaps for 2 or 3 days and they're going to make the most of it, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And as long as we have great venues, we figure people will spend some time here. But that's the great thing in Las Vegas. There's so many great things to do. And when people don't stay with us, we want to make sure we have the reasons for people to come down and pop in and check things out. And that's one of the reasons why the Andiamo Steakhouse here, I'm so proud of that. Just getting named the best Italian steakhouse in all of Las Vegas. That's been such a great restaurant venue for us that it brings a lot of people here.
I was lucky enough to dine there last night, and it is simply the best service I've had in the whole of my 2 or 3 week experience here in Las Vegas. Those guys know how to make you feel special. And what I loved about it, there was one thing I didn't love about it, which was the fact that I had to send so much back. I mean, these guys give you a meal, don't they? I mean, some of the appetizers are as big as an entree.
That's true. They do serve some healthy portions, but hopefully you have a little left over to take a bite today.
The service was literally incredible. The room is just so decadent and beautiful. And they've kind of gone away from it now. They seem to be being very cool for school, but there's something lovely about eating in a beautiful room, great food that's served properly. And that's exactly the epitome of what Andiamo's is. It's that traditional steakhouse with beautiful food and, again, at great value.
Well, great. I'm glad you had a great meal. We hear this time and time again, and it's just a terrific restaurant, and it's something I do highly recommend to everyone.
And of course, a little bit of Detroit brought here to Las Vegas, one of the most famous steakhouses there.
Yeah, that was one of my Detroit imports here, and when I talked to the owner in Detroit, I had to convince him to come out here. He wasn't quite sure, but after he was out here, I think after about 2 days, he was sold, and he said, "Okay, let's do this together."
Derrick, let's talk about what it's like being you. How do I get my own casino? How do I build this empire you've got, not just one, but two, and then make it a success and still be here year on year?
Well, I would say it's there's no such thing as something happening overnight, and I've always been the same. I always woke up every morning and try to figure out a way to do something a little bit better, and I think you take day after day and month after month, and you grow a business. And I'm fortunate enough that I love growing businesses, and I love trying to create some things. And sometimes you really mess things up, but other times it works pretty well. And as long as you learn from it, then you can kind of go from there.
When you come into a place like downtown Las Vegas and you see this shell, and then within a year or so you have to have your name on it, it has to be open and it has to be profitable, where do you start? What is the first thing that you make sure is right? Is it the food? Is it the rooms? Is it the casino floor?
Well, that's a great question, and I would tell you that there wasn't quite the strategic sequencing as maybe you would think. We tried to get into everything as soon as we can, because we knew that we had to get all the rooms completely renovated. We knew we had to renovate the casino. We knew we had to bring the restaurants in. We knew we had to have new valet entrances. We knew we had to have new marquees on the building, and they all worked in conjunction with one another. So it's not as if we could work on one element. We had to do everything at one time, and we had to do it while the hotel casino was still open, which was a difficult process, but it helped us get to the point where all that's behind us now.
I guess you could start a conference with your head as to what's going on at any one point in the day, because you're responsible for everything from the guy who greets you at the front door to the standards of shows to, of course, the quality of room. Where does it stop where your phone has to be switched off? Because you could go nuts, couldn't you, micromanaging everything, because this is a huge property to stay on top of.
Well, I think the key thing is you've got to, in a business that's open 24 hours a day, in a business that really doesn't have any doors with any keys that lock, the doors are always open. You really need to focus on developing a management team that you can trust. They trust you, and we all have our responsibilities. I would say, as part of the management team in the hotel casino business, phones never go off, just because you don't know who's going to walk in at 2:30 in the morning with $100,000 and want to start gambling or something like that. So you have to always be on. But fortunately for myself and for all of our management team, we love it. So it's not really a job. We kind of love what we do.
I've been snooping around for the last 24 hours, and I've said, have you heard about this Derek? What's he like? And you have a great reputation on the floor. It seems like you're very fair. I also wonder whether you're the kind of guy that ever switches off. Are you always looking for what's not quite to your standard, or do you sort of leave it to everybody else?
No, it's fair to say that I can go from a meeting where we're making $1 million decisions to 4 minutes later I'm talking about the way the tissue paper in the restrooms isn't lined up appropriately. I love, obviously, being involved in these types of decisions and monitoring and creating an environment where all of our team is always looking at every little element. For me, like I said, I'm very blessed in the fact that I love doing this. So it's really not a job. It's I feel good about being able to straighten something out in a restroom or on a casino floor, because I feel like, okay, we just got a little bit better, and I feel good about that.
And I guess what's also empowering and thrilling is that you're at a point in your career where you don't have to ask permission of anybody else. If you want to get something done, you can get it done.
Well, I think there are some benefits when your name's on the building. I'll give you that. But no, our management team has the authority to make decisions quickly. I do enjoy making decisions quickly. I don't like to belabor things after committee and meeting. I'm probably more willing to make a decision, and I'm probably more willing to mess it up. And if that happens, then we just try to quickly adjust and take another tack.
I think you're so brave, and you should be very proud of what you've achieved. When I look at the rooms, which we'll talk about now, they're rooms to entertain in, aren't they? I mean, you've set them up. I'm in a suite overlooking Las Vegas with the most glorious view, I think, on the 29th floor. As you walk in, there's a bar area. This is a place to bring your friends and have a party, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's one of the greatest towns, and I think this is the greatest property to have a party. Like I said, our one of our key logos and key slogans is the fact that this is the most fun casino in all of Las Vegas, and we have to keep pushing the envelope to make sure that everybody has a great time when they come here.
I'm very old now, and what impressed me the most was your level of showers. My God, they're amazing. They're the best in Las Vegas, and that might not seem something to you. I'm tall. You wouldn't believe how many showers come to about my chest height, which really pisses me off in hotels. Yours are big, and I'm a big guy, and I need to be covered. They're fabulous. Congratulations on that.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that's a character trait that we both share. I cannot stand going to a hotel and the shower is hitting me in the middle of my back. And I'm not a big fan of hotels that don't have the proper water pressure or don't have the proper temperature. I had some very specific design requirements for our shower. So I appreciate it meant something to you.
I know it's little things, but even like the Wi-Fi is the best I've had anywhere in Las Vegas. I know these are small things to other people, but to me, if I'm in the middle of a Skype call, I don't want to be cut off. If I'm trying to download something or check emails, I don't want it to take 20 minutes. These are little things that all build up because it's those small things that can stop you coming back to a property, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the Wi-Fi speed is something that is important to me. We do our speed tests, and we're always trying to be a little bit better on our upload speed, our download speeds, and I would say, from a competitive perspective, we think that that's an advantage, and we think that helps our customers out, and it attracts people, and not everyone notices it, but if you do enough of those little things, there's going to be a few points that some people are going to appreciate, and I think that's how you end up growing a loyal customer base and a customer base that likes to talk about the property.
A lot of people credit you as being responsible with reinventing downtown and being the guy who has made it cool again. Let's face it, there was a period when this was the place that old people came, and the dollar slot machines and all of that business, the 5-cent slot machines and things like that. You put a ton of money into this to make it cool again, and you are literally bringing in a brand new clientele and a cool clientele. For you, was that important to make sure that this place survives? Because, of course, Uptown, they're building by the second and reinventing themselves daily.
Yeah, I think it's important to always reinvent and renovate and keep fresh and keep clean and keep cool. And I think the one thing that we have here, I think we can have an upscale and fun experience. People sometimes ask me, well, are you competing with the Strip? And I generally say, well, not really, because I'm not competing with a $4 billion tower, but they may have a bigger physical asset, but I have one advantage over them, and my advantage is that if somebody has a $4 billion tower in today's day and age, they have $4 billion in debt. We don't have the debt here, so it still allows me to sell a beer for $4 or $5, and something unlike on the Strip where a beer or a drink may cost $12 or $14. So I think it gives everybody a little better opportunity to get a great experience with a little less price.
I stayed in a Strip property the other day and said, could you bring a coffee to my room? They charged me $22. I don't care who you are, that's an insult, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. You're exactly right. It doesn't really matter how much money you have. You can be offended by some of the pricing, and when you have some really wonderful properties with an awful lot of debt, basically they've got to be able to pay for the debt, and that's through higher prices, higher room rates, much more expensive food, and that's really one of our advantages, we feel.
And of course, with having a property this size, I can get from the car park to my room within seconds. It can take 20 minutes in some of these other places. That for me is a great relief, and I think for people who are here for an extended stay, whether that's 3 days or above, these things are going to matter, and that's another great advantage for you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the convenience is terrific. I mean, you can get off the elevator, go make a bet on the sports book. You can jump right out. You're right at the world famous Long Bar and watch your favorite football game or baseball game or soccer game, and you could be right there. So I think the convenience is terrific.
If you want a quick snack, there's the D Grill, which I ate in this morning, which is tremendous. Beautiful room and serving sort of diner food to a very high standard. Very nice. The ribs were delicious. Last night, again, Andy Armour's was just terrific. One of the best meals I've had here and the best service I've certainly had in Las Vegas by a mile. And again, so generous with the portions and hospitality. And your rooms, again, size of them, bigger than anything you're going to get pound for pound anywhere in Las Vegas. So congratulations. It was a great honor meeting you, and thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you had a great experience. I appreciate the opportunity to be on, and I'm like I said, I'm very glad that you had some great meals, and hopefully I get to see many of your listeners at some point.
See you back in Detroit.
All right. See ya.